The Confluence Innovation Festival is returning to Grand Rapids this fall. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Lasser here from the Wood TV Live Desk. Expanded programming and more has been announced for this festival. And joining me this morning to share more on that is managing partner Brian Cohen. Brian, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
Let's get rolling here with some of the basics. To those who may not be familiar with the festival or have never been, what is the Confluence Innovation Festival?
So Confluence is, like you said, an innovation festival. We really look at all the terrific innovation that's happening across our region, try to bring it all into one place. We've defined four major pillars that is our main focus, and that is art, music, science, and technology. And what we do is look at innovation, what happens when innovation in one of these areas intersects with another area. So what happens when innovation in art intersects with innovation within science? What happens? What is the positive outcome that can result from that? So we have a number of different programmatic elements that play on this theme. We have a terrific music showcase with folks who have 1 foot in music and 1 foot in one of these other pillars. We have a Maker Expo, which is a focus on our DIY community. We have a Future Innovator Zone, which is for our younger audience, looking at robotics and drones and electric vehicles, that sort of thing. We have an innovation showcase this year, that's focused on gaming and esports and the different players in our region who are moving the ball forward in that space. And finally, an art takeover of an urban space, mostly on the digital side, looking at what happens once spaces become completely immersed in multi-sensory art activation.
I want to dive into some of those elements here in just a moment, but of the ones that you just rang off there, what one excites you the most?
Well, I'm coming from the music space, so I'm always really jazzed about what we're able to do on the music side. But I think this year with the gaming, I've never seen, at least in Grand Rapids, a coming together of all the different elements that we have coming together. Miller Knoll, formerly Herman Miller, is underwriting that effort, and they're going to bring out their gaming chairs and some other tech that they have around that space. We've got some other great partners. It's going to be an exhibition, so we're going to have collegiate and high school teams come out and compete against each other. We're going to open it up to the public as well, so that they can get in front of the console and play these games as well. So, we're a festival about innovation, so we're never going to do the same thing twice. So that innovation space focused on esports is a new element this year.
You mentioned those elements and the 5 distinct ones. One of them that you made a mention of just a short time ago was the Future Innovator Zone. Tell me about the importance of including those STEAM programs for kids there, for those learning opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's crucial because one of the things we want to do is we want to be a source of excitement for the next generation of high-tech innovators, entrepreneurs, those who will go into the workforce in high-tech manufacturing and the other things that we have around the region. So this space is really an opportunity for different companies in the region. Consumers Energy is the underwriter of that, so they're going to bring out all of the high-tech that they use to accomplish what they need to accomplish. And it's really a showcase to get that next generation jazzed and excited about the opportunities that exist locally. Again, as we try to keep a high-skilled workforce here, as opposed to letting them sort of drift off to the coast as often happens. We want to showcase to that younger generation all the great opportunities that are here right now.
In terms of tech innovation there as well, robotics and drones are set to be included. Robotics, an increasingly popular program we see in schools with robotics programs. That popularity has boomed over the past several years. And on top of that, drones as well, licensed drone pilots, things along those lines. Tell me about kind of opening up those doors for those specific topics here with this kind of festival.
Yeah, so the robotics, the heavy focus on robotics this year is another example of us innovating and moving into new territory after our first year last year. And this is an effort that we're going to house within Western Michigan University's AMP Lab. which is downtown right next to the space that we'll be using. So we are inviting, again, collegiate and high school teams, First Robotics, to come in and demonstrate all the terrific things that they're doing in the robotics area. So they'll bring out their hardware. We'll have some demonstration opportunities, again, as a way to highlight the potential in what's happening in this area and the folks who are really involved in it.
Run me through some of the specifics of the event. Location is different from last year, times, things along those lines.
Yep. So the big difference this year is the location. So last year we were at Calder Plaza. I think we created a terrific event for that space. But we wanted to be a little bit more central to downtown this year. So we're moving to Studio Park, which is just an amazing space, a lot of infrastructure already in place. So that's been a little bit easier lift for us to integrate some of our programming. But we're also using a lot of the area around Studio Park. We'll be closing some of the streets to have programming there. We'll be using Oak Street Park, which is right there for the art component. And then as I mentioned, the AMP lab at WMU is right there as well. So we're going to use the Piazza at Studio Park as our center of activity, but we're activating spaces all around it to really have a significant event that, like we've said, is multifaceted and covers a lot of different area.
Brian, your personal favorite part about this festival?
So it'd have to be the music. That's always where my focus is initially, to make sure that that's as strong as it can be. I love looking at where bands are at any particular time in terms of the culture, trying to find, who's going to be the next thing. You have to have a little bit of a crystal ball on you to anticipate, because we typically book these things 6 to 9 months out in advance. So you want to be thinking, who's going to be big, who's going to resonate with folks 6 or 9 months from now. So it requires a little bit of seeing the future as best you can. But what's interesting about this event, because it's about art, music, science, and tech, me and the people who are curating it aren't really looking at it as a typical music festival where you would just invite the people who are big at any particular time. We really wanted the music to fold into the theme as well. So like I said, there's artists that are populating more than one of these pillars: art, music, science, and tech. And it's really enabled us to put together a really unique lineup, something that's different from what you might see at a typical music festival. And that's important for us. As a relatively new event, we want to continue to differentiate ourselves. We want to be something different. We want to be something that West Michigan has never seen before. And having this lineup with this sort of curatorial focus has gone a long way to doing that.
As we wrap up here, Brian, why is having an influence or a festival like this in the Grand Rapids community important?
It's a great question, and I think it was one of the reasons we really got started down this road. As you probably know, there's a lot of terrific innovation that happens in this community, but it often happens behind closed doors. It's in towers, it's in office buildings. What we wanted to do was create a platform to bring all that terrific stuff down to the street level. This is an event for the public. There's no tickets. It's free to attend, because we really want to get people involved and excited and up to speed on the terrific things that are happening around here. So Confluence is that platform for different companies, the ones I've mentioned and many more, to come out and demonstrate what they're doing, show off the innovation and the advancements that they're involved in. The entrepreneurial community, the startup community, long-standing companies, they're all part of this ecosystem. So we're really hoping and excited for Confluence to really be that centerpiece, that shiny opportunity for everyone to come out and demonstrate, not just to West Michigan, but to really the entire region. And I think ultimately the country, as this grows in stature and becomes a more national event, to really show off what West Michigan is doing to move the world forward in all of these different areas.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, I think we mentioned the dates, September 23rd and 24th. we love that September timeframe. And I would just encourage everyone to come out. One of the great things about having all these different sorts of programming is that you get a chance to interact with audiences that you might not come in contact ordinarily. You might come out to the music, but there's also a community there for the Maker Expo. And those audiences mix and match as the programming happens right next to each other. So it's a terrific intermingling of content, but also audiences as well. So it's a great public experience. It's a great experience for, getting to know others in your community and what they're involved in. So I would say if you have a curious mind and you're in town September 23rd or 24th, Confluence is where you want to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you tuned in maybe halfway through this stream or just now clicking in and you're watching on Facebook, there's a link attached to the stream. It takes you over to woodtv.com. You can view our full conversation over there. Brian, thank you for your time.
Great. Thanks, Luke.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk on News 8 Digital anchor Luke Laster. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you around.